Welcome back to Switch to Linux. So we are here with another Wednesday deep dive on the news. I don't know if I have a specific name for this one, but I usually pick one topic and we run with it. And so what today's topic is why in the world does the Department of Justice want 1.3 million IP addresses for people who simply visited a website? Well, that's a fascinating thing to find out. So we're going to talk about this today. So, hello to everybody. Gavin, how's it going? Albert, Philippe, how's it going there? And 2610, your time has come. Salutations to you as well. Yes, the kitty's life. He's just so lazy. Yeah, I think that this cat eats, goes to the litter box, bathes, and sleeps. I am pretty sure that is all this cat does. Of course, he has two favorite places. One is the bedroom in the corner of the bed, and the other is right there on that little kitty bed. I'm so happy that they like that kitty bed. I built that for them. And there's actually printers underneath it. So, all right. Well, we are going to dig into this this topic here. And this is an interesting one. I always try and pick something that's related to the things we talk about on this show, technology or privacy. And in this case, we have technology and privacy together. And this is just a totally interesting debate. And so really what it has to do with is the Department of Justice wants essentially everything related to the servers for the disruptj20.org website. So if you have never heard of it, much like I did not prior to reading about this information, the Disrupt J20 was, of course, on the inauguration date. It was a website that existed to organize protests. Now, some people say organize riots. I don't know if they organize protests or organize riots. I don't think I was ever there at that website. I hope not anyway. But pretty much what happened is riots broke out on the inauguration day, as you would imagine, because we are in such a split country. But remember, and this is something that you heard on Eli's channel around election time, is that remember that it wasn't like absolutely everybody hates Donald Trump. 50% of the company voted for Trump. 50% of the company voted for Clinton. Country voted for Clinton. It was like the races are getting so even that it doesn't matter which side you're on. This is what causes so much of this. I don't think we've seen this much. I think there's two factors as to what causes us to get so much dissension right now. Number one is we are just becoming a morally abhorrent nation. We have stepped aside of everything of decency and humanness, and we are just living these crazy self-centered lives. But secondly is that we are so divided as a nation. We either want this or we want that. And that's one of those things that causes us to happen. There was a while back, there was a video on Anonymous, and they had listed on that video, they had actually listed several different things. I'm looking for my notes. I actually took notes on one of the things that they had said in there because it was just so fascinating to me. Hopefully I still have it. But pretty much what they were trying to say is, where'd it go? I thought it was in this pile of stuff. Oh no, here it is. Excellent. So they said that, and I forget, I think there's a call, if this doesn't open your eyes, nothing will. What they were doing is they're talking about how it is that you divide a society. And they said, number one is give the illusion of offering freedom. Number two is provide constant entertainment. Number three is you dumb down the population. Number four is you brainwashing ideas and basically through entertainment. Number five is you divide the masses. Number six is fear and terror. Number seven is believe in a fake reality. Number eight is censorship of those people who speak truth. And number nine is keep citizens busy. And I just see so much. I wrote those down because I just see so much in our world that if you take this list and you do the opposite of what's on that list, you will actually find joy in your life. I mean, it's just fascinating to look at this. But one of those is divide the masses. And we are so divided in this country. I would be so happy if we would just abolish both political parties and start over with nothing again. Because really our nation is... A lot of our challenges is because we have these two nations and nobody wants to view the information. That's why what I try and do on this show is we review the information. Okay, I don't want you to follow this party because you align with them or that party because you align with them. Both options are silly. You need to look at the stuff yourself. But the key factors, if you're kept so busy in your work and your activities and your hobbies and everything else, you will not have the ability to sit there and look at things yourself. And that's what we need to do. So hello, JJ Games. On boat, still watching live streams. Sweet. On boat or on board? Cool. Demiano, how's it going? Sean's Opinion TV, how's it going there? All right, so... Basically what happened is riots broke out, January 20th protests. About 230 people were arrested, and now they're trying to process all these information. And this is the thing that is also, to me, fascinating. Like, okay, you have all of this information. You have 230 people. Are you still looking for more? Is that the reason why you want all these records? Because it raises a fascinating concern. When, for example, they're trying to take down the Silk Road, they're trying to probe the servers, identify the servers so you can find the key guy in charge. I get that. If you say, we are trying to identify a key person who logs in from this server for this duration, for this time, provide that narrow window of information, an ISP is more likely to comply. But what happened is they issued a Washington, D.C. Supreme Court search warrant for all data, and that includes all of those server logs, which would expose the IP logs for 1.3 million site visitors. That is fascinating. All right, Joey, love your channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Haddock, how's it going there? Hope you're fishing something good. Nice. All right, so pretty much what happened is they already have these people, and this is what's so backwards about this thing, is that usually you do these IP logs because you're trying to track down the guy behind the keyboards. Are they looking for more than 230 people? I mean, these are riots. It's not exactly like these are hidden people hiding behind there. You probably have the people that you need, or at least photographic evidence. Photographic evidence and a Facebook, image recognition program, which you probably have access to, is a whole lot better than blanket IP addresses, because now you have to go through that pesky little thing of proving who was at the other end of that computer, which is what makes online bad picture sites so hard to prosecute. Is not only do you have to prove that was the IP, but you also now have to prove what the who was sitting behind the computer at that IP, and that is where you can get some challenges. All right. So with this, they issue this. Now, of course, Facebook is also a target of this. Now, Facebook is trying to fight a gag order from telling individual users about search warrants. I'm not sure that they have sent 1.3 million search warrants to Facebook, though. I don't know. So pretty much this protest site is registered to a group called The Movement, and they haven't responded. So, of course, here's some other thoughts and some other viewpoints from this. From The Atlantic. So this group here, they're talking about essentially the same thing. So their riots charge more than 200 people. They're looking for information for people connected with this website. According to the 1.3 million, it's not like they're not coming out saying in their search warrant, here's 1.3 million. This is what the company has said. This is how many viewers there are on that site, how many site visitors. And with the information they're asking for, it would expose all of those individual IP addresses, which is kind of crazy. Like, it's so crazy what they're trying to do. And so I like this comment. This is actually why I had the Atlantic article here. The government has made no effort whatsoever to limit the warrant to actual evidence of any particular crime. If you visited the site, if you left a message, they want to know who you are and where you are, whether or not you did anything but watch TV on Inauguration Day. This is chilling, particularly when it comes from an administration that expressed so much overt hostility to protesters, so relentlessly conflated all protesters with those who break the law, and so deliberately framed America as being at war with the administration's domestic enemies. So let's dissect that a little bit. Because one thing is, if you're going to protest, we in America at least have the right to protest peacefully, people. Okay, that means leave the clubs at home, leave the weapons at home, go peacefully, hold up your sign, obey the people that are saying you must clear a path here, be civilly disobedient. I'm not arguing that. But it is made worse by the other statement that's here, that the administration wants to say, anytime a guy's sitting there holding up a sign, intrinsically you guys are just violent protesters, and that's not true either. And so you have to strike that balance. Administration, we have the legal right to assess our political views. But people protesting, you got to keep it peaceful. And if you can't keep things peaceful because you feel like an entitled little baby, please stay home. You're just going to ruin the day for everyone else. That's the way it is. All right? And, is there a place for a protest? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. This is my form of protest. Nice and safe. Well, until Comcast cuts me out again. But, never mind. That's kind of what I have to say there. Let's have a quick look back at the comments. Oh, there's the cute cat and some comments. There you go. Kitty, kitty. Oh, he's dead. He's just sleeping. He's like, oh, there he is. Now he's awake. All right. Send it to Tom to cook it. Ooh, yeah. I could use some good fish. That'd be good. Kitties would like some fish, too. Kitties love it when I cook trout. Is it trout I get? No, it's salmon I get. They love it when I cook salmon. I always give them a little piece of the salmon. It's the only thing I feed them before I eat myself. I'll give them a little bit of salmon. They love it. We're getting into cubes. Really want to improve my Linux skills. Was wondering if you have any suggestion on sites or anywhere for info to learn more. I think I'd watch Joe Collins' channel, because he does a lot more with the terminal than I do. Also, Brian Lunduke might have some stuff. Level 1 Techs has a Linux channel. You might look at their things. So that's what I would do. And just play around, read things online. Do interesting searches. Like, even if it's something you can easily do in the GUI, do an internet search to figure out how to do it in the terminal instead. That's how I got good at the terminal, is just taking tasks I could have easily done on this. And hey, if you want to also build web servers on AWS servers, that makes you really good at the terminal because you have no GUI option. All right. Hey, Daniel, how's it going there? Dude, peaceful protest. Girl got killed the other day because someone drove a car into a crowd. Yeah, that's stupid. That's just stupid. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at this warrant, shall we? So we have a copy of the warrant, and the warrant was actually posted from DreamHost, listed it. So this has been a fight. You can see this was just earlier this week. Was it probably last Friday? When was it, 12? Oh, really? Government works on Saturday? It says here Saturday. All right. So here is an affidavit. His Superior Court, District of Columbia, search warrant to Chief of Police or any other law enforcement officer. Okay. Well, that's a little vague, ain't it? So here's the affidavit. Basically, let's see, is it probable cause to believe that in the premises controlled by DreamHost there is now being concealed property? Make DreamHost sound bad already, Let's see. So basically, what do they want? Okay, that's that. Okay, so property be searched. Warrant applies to information associated with www.disruptj20.org. Wouldn't it be hilarious if the disrupt20.org it doesn't have the www in front of it, because technically that is a different domain. That'd be funny. That'd be really funny. But anyway, that is stored at the premise, owned, maintained, controlled, or operated by DreamHost. Ooh, okay. So, what is the information to be disclosed? So, this is in theory a search warrant, which is kind of interesting. And I originally thought that this was a court order, but it does say search warrant at the top. And so the difference is a court order is something that just the court compels you to turn it over. The search warrant actually has to be vetted. So how this information got vetted is way beyond, and that's the core of the issue. So the extent of this information is described in Attachment A is within the possession, custody, or control of DreamHost, including any messages, record files, logs, information that has been deleted, but are still available to DreamHost or has been preserved in pursuant to a request made under 18 U.S.C. 2073. DreamHost is required to disclose the following information. Let's actually look this. No, I can't. They're not giving me text stuff. All right. All records or other information pertaining to the account or identifier, including all files, databases, database records stored by DreamHost in relation to the account identifier, all information in the possession of DreamHost that might identify the subscribers related to those accounts or identifiers, including names, addresses, telephone numbers, and other identifiers, email addresses, business information, length of service, including start date, means, source of payment for services, including any credit card or bank account numbers, and information about any domain name registration. All records pertaining to the types of services utilized and all records pertaining to communications between DreamHost and any person regarding the account identifier, including contacts with support services and records of actions taken. The information they are seeking. Files, databases, database records stored by DreamHost on behalf of the subscriber or user operating the website, including programming code used to serve or process requests made by web browsers. That's the scary part. Programming code used to serve or process requests made by web browsers. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, image files, and other files. HTTP request and error logs. This is the one that has people in a tizzy the most, because this actually logs all of the IP addresses that reach the server. SSH, FTP, telnet logs showing connections related to the website, any other transactional information, including records of sessions, times, durations, log files, dates, times, connecting methods, and connecting ports. MySQL, PostSQL, and other databases related to the website, email accounts, contents thereof associated with the account, subscriber information related to the accounts established to host site, enumerated in Attachment A, including names, physical addresses, telephone numbers, and other identifiers, email addresses, and business information, length of service, including start date. If a domain name was registered on behalf of the subscriber, the date the domain was registered, the domain name, registrant information, administrative information, technical contact, and billing contact used to register, and the method of payment tenured for it. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So, the one that has them the most concerns is this 1C, because this includes an IP log. So, as a person who has built web servers and runs web servers, every connection that is made will automatically get logged into the site. Most companies don't go through those. Now, let's talk about what we can do with that later. But basically, this means that however many site visitors there are, unique site visitors, which I'm guessing based upon DreamHost's information is 1.3 million users. Basically, this exposes the actual IP address and therefore the location of 1.3 million site users, at least. There might be more. Let's have a look at comments, though, before we dig any deeper here. All right, it's worth jumping in and learning Bash script for getting better at Linux. Yes. Is it worth it? Yes, it is. In fact, I actually have some scripts, not on this computer, but I've had some Bash scripts. I did need to write a few Bash scripts to get my Calibri server running right. And I think I had done some that disables the touchscreen on one of my Linux laptops because touchscreens on traditional laptops are beyond annoying. And I can also run a script at any time to re-enable it. But yeah, you can definitely. Sitting on my couch laughing when people were protesting Trump at the inauguration, this person starts screaming, "No, no!" That's funny. Evil Racist says, okay, they only work on Saturday if they're doing something illegal, immoral, or fattening. Yes. What can you recommend for responsive web development in Bluefish? What I would recommend is you learn Bootstrap. That is essentially the only responsive elements that I prefer to use any longer is the Bootstrap elements. It's just so much nicer than having to mess with anything else, and then I don't have to learn multiple different systems. Just download it. I think it's getbootstrap.info, I think is their site. Just do get Bootstrap on an internet search. It should be the first thing you find. Very nice framework. And watch the rest later. All right, man. See you later. Okay, until I get comfortable with commands such, it's not worth learning yet. I'd probably learn the commands and then get into bash scripts is what I would personally do, but I don't know. Oh, hey, there you go. That's what he says. QZip has a decent bash scripting tutorial. Oh, cool. YouTube is getting crazy with censorship. Yep, a little bit. All right. So here's what DreamHost is saying. So basically they're coming out and they're detailing this. So they're identifying all the different server requests. They're trying to fight this. So they have not given over any data yet. It's kind of been lobbying stuff back and forth. They filed a motion. Department of Justice filed another motion back. That's 28 pages, so we won't read that one. And then DreamHost went back, issued another one. EFF is not officially involved, but is definitely lending them some support. Some people are questioning where's the ACLU and all this, because I'd imagine they'd be all over. I'm not sure if I didn't look their site to see if they got on there at all, but so pretty much this is what's going on. So here are my thoughts, the things that I was thinking about as I looked at this general principle. First question, in light of all of the crazy data sharing between companies, what if this group happened to have purchased contact lists that some third party said were, their demographic, i.e. people that lean left and hate Trump? I'm sure that some company has that data aggregated and they have purchased a contact list and imported that into a script that runs on the site. Now, by no fault of anybody else's, just by what an analytics company deems to be your political viewpoint, you could be into this site and be harvested into this list. That's interesting. In fact, there's another group that I work with that does kind of do work along these kinds of lines, that they're now testing scripts that anytime you email that person emails you or whatever else, it automatically adds to a third-party database without you being involved. And I'll tell you that company does do some things I consider unscrupulous in that they hide the subscribe button. So when you sign up for one of their petitions or whatever, there is a check mark that is checked by default that says subscribe to our mailing list. They run special code that hides that opt-in, opt-out checklist, so you are automatically subscribed to a mailing list just by filling out their form. I find that very unscrupulous. However, that's what they're doing. And what if I fall into this for whatever weird reason, and that's how they end up pinning my data and collection? Because it's not just about the server logs and the IPs. They're also asking for databases. So if they are importing any customer list that they bought, borrowed, shared, or whatever else, that data is also involved. Nobody's really talking about that corner of it, but that is a part of this as well. So basically what this is I'm wondering if they're doing a playbook from 1984 here and simply harvesting a collection of people that they believe correspond to one particular political view. If they're producing lists of people of given political views, that gets very dangerous. Very dangerous. And so we have to approach that. So, I mean, where do you put me in the list? I unregistered from the Republican Party. I was registered Republican until a few months back, and I unregistered. I went back to independent. And I'm not sure I was ever what I would completely qualify a full Republican. I'm certainly not a Democrat. I'm not of either viewpoint because they're both gone. And I think we should totally abolish both parties. But this to me seems like harvesting data and producing a database of people of an alternative political viewpoint from the originating party. That gets scary because that's the thing that leads to blacklists. That's the thing that leads to all this kind of stuff. What if you were against the type of site, this type of thing that this data does, but you visited the site so you could have a logical and informed conversation, which, by the way, is absolutely required. That is required for this stuff. You need to come up with a logical viewpoint. I can't just go out and say, all Democrats are stupid or all Republicans are stupid. I have to have some basis to understand it. And what basis do I have other than sitting back and saying, I need to look at the sites. I need to go to the primary sources. I need to read what they're really doing. Without that, I don't have a logical opinion. But now, because I simply wanted to see what this group is about, or maybe I went there because I was curious, now all of a sudden, I'm caught in on this stuff. That's a little insane, is that not? That's scary. What if I landed there accidentally? What if I accidentally clicked an ad? What if some Chrome website browser was hijacked and sent anybody that visited google.com to their site in a backwards window and you just shot there because of some malware guy? That's creepy. I mean, there's a lot of scary stuff here. Ultimately, though, people are arguing this is absolute government overreach, and I completely agree. If you want to say we're looking for, people that might live in this region or whatever else, even then we're getting a little hairy. But we're not talking about trying to find somebody involved in cybercrime. We're talking about collecting evidence for people who were physically on a site that you have arrested. That's a different story. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Let's go ahead and have a look at our comments again. 3 years ago, 63-year-old guy. Nice. Okay. Switch links 4 weeks ago. Sweet. Hey, Lance, how's it going there? Stan, I'm not going back. Yeah. Hey, LeShark, how's it going there? I only have only one Windows installed just for Visual Studio, and it is only connected to the internet when it needs to be. Yeah, that's what I have. I have for development. Yeah, for fun development purposes, I got this guy here. No microphone, no camera, and I disabled the wireless card. It plugs in. I should probably plug it in and turn it on so it updates. See how horrible the Creator Studio really is. Back in that later. I don't think that thing's been on for several months, but that's my Windows 10 computer. It's called Evil Spy. I also actually have a Windows 10 VirtualBox installed on my OpenSUSE computer, but that's it. I'm not going back to Windows myself. The YouTuber I support is heavily attacked by YouTube bots. Who's that, Dan? LOL, Republican banned. No way. Okay, hit the like button. Yeah, thanks, guys. Hit the like button if you like this. Hit the dislike if you don't like it. I don't know. Useful information either way. Flashback to McCarty prosecutions. Yes. Gives me another reason not to vote. I fought for the vote 18 in the 70s. I was a fool. Brian the Computer Geek. How's it going there? All right. I, as an independent, also visit sites from both sides of the political spectrum to learn both sides of the argument. What implications can this have for guys like me? For me, I think that the biggest implications are if you run a website, run yourself a cron job that clears your log file. Now, you may not have the ability to do that. I'm talking if you have a site that you actually control the server, not you're buying a shared hosting package somewhere. But if you actually control the server, it might be worthy of doing that. Because here's the thing, even if it's on an AWS. So I run a few AWS servers for people, right? And on the AWS servers, I have full access to all of the server information. And so for me, what I could do is I can run a cron job to do that. Now, if some government agency wanted to access those logs, they would go to AWS and say to AWS, we need this, and probably give them at least a temporary gag order so AWS can't come back to me and say, hey, they're investigating this. So because it's a gag order, there's a little thing that right now DreamHost has no option to delete the files. Once the warrant is issued, if they were to delete the files right now while it's in dispute, now they can be charged with destroying evidence. So they cannot, they have to take the files out, set them aside while the litigation is going on. That's what they have to do. But they may or may not be able to tell that user based on, is there a gag order involved or not. So if I, as the end user, am running a cron job that clears the log files every so often, or I just disable log files entirely, there's no data to be collected. And that's one of the things that people say is, why is it these are collecting data? Well, some reasons, particularly in the shared servers, and I don't know how their server is set up. It depends on the configuration of their server. But if you're dealing anything with medical documents, HIPAA laws require you to keep all that information for 6 years. All access logs, who has access to everything, where everything is going. ISPs running medical data sites have to do that. So because a shared server or a public hosting system is like that, it's very possible that they also have to keep those records that long. I couldn't find anything in the law about it one way or the other. It's what I had heard, and so I looked it up, and the only thing I found is the HIPAA requirements, which require 6 years for medical records. So you have that kind of dichotomy going. But as me as the end user, if I don't know the request has been made because a gag order has been issued, my script keeps running. Now, as soon as I am alerted to that, I am immediately obligated to stop that cron job and preserve any data while the litigation is going on. I'm required to do that. And if you don't do that, there are these pesky little things called forensic analyzers that will go in and analyze your data to see how frequently things are being deleted and when, etc. So there's a lot of other stuff back and forth with that. So that's kind of where we are with all that kind of stuff. And so with that being said, that's kind of what you can do if you run a site. Now, if you are just an end user, this provides to me a pretty good reason to use a Tor network or the Unix network, which is Tor. I'm getting to that point where I almost just kind of want to start to run cubes as a main daily driver for just any basic internet typey stuff. Just any random searches, any of that kind of stuff. Running cubes, isolate data, block all traffic, and use the Tor network. Because if this case goes through, I'm going to be watching this one. If this case goes through and all this data has to be handed over, that's a very strong argument to switch over to use cubes, to use Tor, to use tails. And by the way, if you want to use Tor, you have to be careful if you're installing Tor as a standalone of DNS leakage. So a site can still grab your information depending on how things are set up. So using tails or using cubes or Unix. I haven't looked at Unix OS, but that's another one kind of like tails, I guess, except I think you install it. So you have that kind of basic, back and forth. So if this goes through, this is a very good argument to go back and potentially start to use Tor more frequently. Particularly if you're visiting a site that could be deemed as controversial. Anything deemed with controversial or deeply personal data, like if you got some weird rash, you want to look it up, I'd do that search on Tor. Or if you're going to look up politically diverse views, I'd probably also do those on Tor. That's probably what I would do as a user to be safe. All right. You don't mind if I tell? Okay. Windows 10, LOL. Dual boot with Cinnamon. See, I don't even want to run a hard drive that has Windows 10 installed on it with a dual boot. No, thank you. It's a gaming channel. Hey, Pseudo Linux, how's it going there? How is school going there, Pseudo? Alright. No, this is not Linux gaming channel. Pseudo update. Am I late? Yeah, you're about 30 minutes late. I've been through my articles. Sudo reboot has respect for you. For who, me? Or sudo Linux? Alright, when you open a pistachio and there's nothing inside the shell. I know, that is so sad. You know, I was so mad the other day because I went out and our local grocery store has a wonderful bulk food section. I love the bulk food section because I can go and I can get, you know, tiny amounts of things. The only scary part is there's a lot of candy there, and I unfortunately was raised with a sweet tooth, so I have a hard time resisting the candy. Even though I don't eat much sugar, sometimes I just got to get a bag of gummy worms or something, you know. But I'll go back there and get pistachios. I got these pistachios. They're supposed to be roasted, salted pistachios, and they were not salted. 3 of them were salted in the whole batch. I was so mad. I should go back and complain because pistachios are expensive. Your hosting is running a firewall and probably has IP logs and more. Correct. Yes. And that is the problem is unless you're running the server like on AWS. On AWS, they don't see nearly as much because each individual server has that information. The company itself doesn't. And so that's why you're saying if you run a cron job every hour to clear the server logs, there's a better chance they don't have any of that. But, you know, fill the shell and glue it and leave it for the next person. Unix is for VMs. Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, like I said, I know Unix exists, like Unix OS exists. I just don't know anything about it. Cat idling at 0.01%. Yes. All right. School is good. Awesome. Well, let's see if I had anything else here to chat about. Actually, I kind of went through all the points I wanted to hit and all that kind of stuff. I guess I'll give you a couple updates. I started installing Pfsense last night. I kind of decided that I'm not actually going to do a tutorial of building my full device, mostly because of security, and I don't want to unveil how all of it is configured and all the security and things like that. And I'm really fumbling through to learn it because it is a different system. But if you guys want, eventually what I might end up doing is I can run it in a virtual box, and inside of a virtual box I can show you how you can set it up, install it, and all that fun stuff. And so that's kind of something I can do. Now, I did, regarding the Fitlet, one viewer, I forget his name, one viewer had does a whole channel related to those. Let me see if I can find that while we're sitting here chatting. I don't have a lot else to chat about right now, so let me see if I can't find it there. Actually, let's go here. But one guy actually has a channel on Fitlets, and he told me that by default they actually run on pretty low power. And so if you go in and into the BIOS, and going into the BIOS, what you can do is you change the power setting. So I upped the power. Actually, I only upped it 1/3 of what you can up it. And I was actually able to run Simple Screen Recorder and other software without much of a problem. So that was a pretty cool thing, is that I was able to do that. So okay, let's see this one here. Pause that. Show comments. I think this is it. Let's see. I thought he said he had a channel on there. Oh, okay. I guess he just had a just a couple videos. So here's his video. He talks about doing Fitlet stuff. So I'm gonna actually watch this video here. I wanna see this. He's actually using a Mint box, which is you can buy one of the pretty much the exact same model computers that I have, only already has Linux Mint pre-installed on it. I think they start at like $200, $300. I think they start at 300, go up to like 600 if you want a Core i5. That's like, wow, that's pretty sweet. I kind of want one of those. I don't know, not my next computer. Yeah, that's he actually gave me some instructions on there. So go into the BIOS, increase the power, and it worked. It worked pretty good. So that was what he did. So that was pretty cool. What do you think of the Lenovo X220 laptop? I don't know anything about it. I generally like Lenovo's, other than that whole Superbug spying thingy. But otherwise, I do generally like Lenovo's. I think, does anybody else I know you do a lot of laptop reviews? I don't know. I'd see if Linus Tech Tips has done a review on it, or anybody else reputable does a review on it. Haven't seen that particular laptop. That, and I buy old stuff that's, last year's model on the discount rack for $300. That's how I buy computers, because we don't need to buy much else, Be interested in seeing how Pfsense works. Yep, I'll let you know how it works. I'm slowly building it up. I'm not planning to swap out my router anytime in the immediate future. I'm just still making sure things work, and then I'm gonna push it through security protocols like there's no end. One of the cool things about it is you can set up its own VPN, and so I'm going to reestablish my VPN over there so I don't have to run the Raspberry Pi VPN. I'm guessing it's going to run better. I don't know what the ports are on that. I'm guessing that the ports are probably better than the Raspberry Pi's ports, which are, I think, 1000. I'm thinking the other one might, I don't know if that's 100 a gig. I'm not sure. I'll have to look up what ports I have. You show me how to add the Pi VPN server. Hey, I've been looking for this guy for a while. Hold on, let me get this. Hey, how's it going? Hey, I'm live streaming right now. You're on live. How's it going? Should I put it on speaker for you? Okay, let me call you back in a little bit. All right. All right, bye. He never leaves his phone on, so I had to pick up the phone when he calls. All right, let's see. Can you show me how to add the Pi OpenVPN server to Pfsense? Well, as far as like how you add a Raspberry Pi VPN, OpenVPN to any router, is you simply configure it and plug it in. I don't have to do anything special. I just plug it, hardwire it directly into any available port on my network, and basically that is all you need to do to make it work. So when I get into the VPN stuff, I'll talk more about that. Right now I have the system set up. I have it bridging the network through my existing router. I have the 3 extra LAN ports all bridged together so that I have 3 LAN ports on it. And that's kind of where I stopped because I actually had other work to do. Next thing I do is see if I can get the wireless working on it, and I might play with VPN. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. When and if my router stops working, I want to build my own. Yeah, and that's why I'd start working on one sooner rather than later, so you can test it and make sure everything works. When did you get your okay, yep. You got Windows93.net. It's a cool website. Windows93.net. Are you sending me to spammy places? Are you doing it? Cool. That's pretty sweet. I like that. Windows93.net. That's pretty cool. Other things like clocking, overclocking CPU and RAM in Linux with Ryzen loving the higher RAM speeds. I have no idea. Check with Level 1 techs on that. I think they're actually playing with that kind of stuff. We're getting Mac Mini. For what? What am I getting a Mac Mini for? I have a Mac Mini. It sucks. Yeah, I bought mine. Again, I bought my Mac Mini used. I think I paid $4. I don't know. I paid like $350 for it, I think. I don't know. The price tag's actually still in the bottom. If I wanted to run a Mac Mini, that's the way to do it, I have a Lenovo laptop that had Windows 10, but I wiped it and installed Linux Mint 18.2. Runs like a champ, no problems. Yep. Yeah, I have a Dell that I did that. Is from horrible products and has USB port issues. Geek thing. Let's see. I'm considering it because I can run XN for Cubes OS, and so hopefully all will work well. Yeah, the only thing with running Cubes on a computer, you want to make sure you have a lot more memory and a lot of processing power. It does slow things down, but it's definitely worth the trade-off. Absolutely. Hey, Wickedly Split. How's it going there? We're just kind of wrapping up. We're just going through comments and chatting right now. So, you know, if you want a concise argument, wait until the thing goes live and you can watch it. First half of it is about our topic. This one here, I'm just going to hang out until you guys are bored. Or I get too hungry, whichever. Linus used to use a MacBook, but it's not easy to get your hands on one. Is that a PS2 intro? The sound, it was the Windows 93.net. It's pretty sweet. Hey, Anarita, how's it going? You missed most of the content, but we're just chatting and hanging out now. Keyboards are terrible now. Reminds me of membrane keyboard. Yeah. You know, I think, if I'm not mistaken, actually, hold on. I'm guessing that the stuff they're using on the new Surface keyboards is much like what they used on the old, the backlit. So I have a Surface. This is the keyboard for my Surface 1 Pro. This is actually one of my 2 writing computers. One of them actually runs Windows. The other one runs Linux. But this computer here, it does have kind of like the cloth view. It's not on the keys itself, but it does have the clothy view, and it does get, you can see that it's not, and I can't clean this, you know? So that's kind of the downside of that clothy type crap they're putting on computers now. Kind of scary. Could someone sub to my friend channel? My stream is out of focus. I mean, out of focus. The cat? Is the cat out of focus? Or it's off topic? Yeah, we're definitely off topic. I've run out of things. I can either end the stream or just keep chatting for as long as people want. What was the content about? We were talking about the issue with the Department of Justice seeking all record logs relating to the disruptj20.org. Where's my thing? So we covered the articles here, and then we dug into actually reading the search warrant. So we read their search warrant. We looked at DreamHost's blog post a little bit and another article from The Atlantic on it. So that's kind of what we were doing. I was busy making dinner, cleaning up their daycare kids, but here now. All right. Now I have to go. See you later, Joey. Time for the blue pill. Kitty looks so chill. Yeah. Kitty, you chill? Yeah? You fly? You chill? You fat? That's PHAT. What? Oh, you want to meow, do you? Where he's chilling now, you can't really see much of him. Transition over to this one. I'm not a whole lot better to look at, but... Okay. Anyway, when you get bored, just play around with the website. It's pretty fun. Hey, Elvis, today you're being celebrated. Oh. Alright, so just other general updates. If you were following the Christian channel, I put up the third video, second actual study. So my goal for that channel is those particular Bible studies through that section of theology is we are going to be doing those on Wednesdays is what the target day is. And I'm trying to actually record, multiple videos at a time. And so I have one set to go. I have another in the mix. So I'll just give you the whole channel here. This is the Christian channel coming in now. So I just uploaded the next lesson there, and then I'm eventually going to get back into the walks again too. I need to calm down a few other business things and increase revenue in a few other places before I can invest a lot of time. But these studies here are actually already written, and so that's why I'm doing these ones now, because I already have about 2 years worth of studies written, so we're just going to go through them. Cooking channel, the next video that I will post is the tacos. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to post it, because I still need, it's going to be a lot of editing. You know, I need to talk about making the taco seasoning from scratch, how to actually cook everything, how to make tortillas from scratch, how to cook all those, all that fun stuff. And so what we're going to do is slowly get into that. All right, so that is the cooking stuff. So you can check out the next Bible study over there if you are so inclined into that type of offensive stuff, or if you want to learn about cooking stuff. I think the last thing I did is a video on how to cut pineapple, and there's a few other things over there as well. All right, some article, can't remember, company government wanted to hand over all IPs. Yep, that's the one I was talking about. You should start a stream every Wednesday where we just talk. I triggered the cat. I could. That'd be fun. I'd like to do more live streams where I actually do more Linuxy stuff and less newsy stuff. But I don't know. We'll see how the channel evolves over time. Let me know in the comments or here or whatever. HIPAA does a great job of punishing small medical practices, but lets the big corporations do whatever they want, essentially. So on my old laptop this weekend, should I build a desktop or buy a laptop? Ooh, that's a hard one. You know, I like the more versatilities of the laptops. Of course, they're easier to break. The desktops, though, you can have fun with them. If you build a desktop, look for some used parts and things like that. Like, I built mine for very little. Most of it was given to me, and then I just built up the rest of it. Yeah, right. But I was able to put neat stuff into mine, like I put an icy dock on the front so I can swap Linux distros immediately. Just push the button on the top, pull out the hard drive, pop a new hard drive in, reboot the computer, and the thing just, you know, it's a completely different computer. So, you know, I have, and the icy dock that I have supports, you know, small hard drives and large hard drives. And so I have 2 drives in there right now. I have this drive, which runs my Linux Mint. That's my recording PC, which is, I have the same computer records my Switch to Linux and my Our Walk in Christ videos, just different user accounts. And then the other hard drive in there is actually my Cubes install. And so I have that, and then, you know, I added just a cheap CD-ROM in there because I wanted a CD-ROM. And then you can max out the RAM. So, I don't know, I think building a computer is a lot of fun too. So, his wife is waiting for them, me too. So I can eat them when she's cooking them. All right, I'll see if I can't carve out some time this week and do that. I don't know, maybe, let's see. No, I haven't done nearly enough work today to give up the rest of my evening. That's the problem, is I have to find the time to fill things in until more revenue and things comes in from YouTube ventures and things. Of course, right now I got to get past that 10,000 threshold to monetize the channels, thanks to Adpocalypse. But that's that. So let's see. Lost my notifications on YouTube, doesn't show up anymore. That's why I try and keep a schedule. I should post it on Switch to Linux. Okay, I'm looking forward to watching your next lesson on the Christian channel. First 2 are awesome. Yep, this one is on the unknown God. We start in Acts 17, and then we go through wisdom and numerous other things. The next one is a simple overview of the Bible, how it's set up and organized, and then we go into more in-depth study of biblical interpretives and things. So, yeah, it's up there. It's up there today. Just put it up this afternoon, so it's ready to go. Desktop, you can always replace parts that don't work. Yes. How the cooking channel videos are edited is perfect. Yeah, the problem is it's the largest overhead channel that I have as far as doing them. Like, I have the Christian channel down because I run the banners and run the text separately, but I have hotkeys built into that to work really well, but I'm still building all the banners manually in the cooking channel site, and they're a pain to do. So it takes a lot longer to do the cooking channel's banners. All right. John Sweeta, mobile or website? Wait, what? Laptop if you travel a lot. App on Android. Building PCs since Pentium 3 and it's fun to add parts. Yeah, that's the fun part about building the PC because you can add fun stuff to it. Like this computer here can actually hold like, how many hard drives? I think there's 6 SATA ports. I think there's 6 SATA ports in this thing. So I can do that. I can run up to 3 video cards in this thing, I think. I don't know, it's crazy. This computer's a beast. So that's that. All right, well, I think we've hit the end of the comments, and I think I've hit the end of the articles, and I think it's been going for about an hour here, so I think we're going to wrap this guy up. Let's go ahead and feed the kitty, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see, where's the kitty treats? Oh, kitty treats. Oh, kitty treats. Oh, kitty treats, kitty treats. Get your head out of that. Here, right here. Right there. Here you go. Get one more. One more for good measure. There you go. I should really contact Temptations and see if they want to sponsor this guy right here. Kitty, get the mouse. 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 See you later, everybody.